Yeah, this T-shirts is on the Zazzle store, so just so you know. All right, Fire City, End of Days. This is a this is a decent demon detective movie that deserves a better title. It deserves a better title. First of all, watching this movie, you realize is like the sets are real cheap, and it's claustrophobic the way it's shot. It all takes place inside this like apartment building, but it's like a low rent apartment building. Everything's really close together. All the apartments are real small, and it feels crowded because there's a lot of like demons and humans running around in this apartment building. And so basically, the demons exist on the earth, and they feed off the misery of humanity. And the story kind of centers around this guy Vine. I don't know what is he? He has some sort of demon name and role, but he's kind of like the protector or the hardest working demon or something like that. And we have the interpreter, the chick in the blue, and the makeup they had in this movie. It was fantastic. I think the whole budget went to the makeup. Because it was fantastic, and I enjoyed like these supernatural kind of stories of like, oh, you're a Christian, you shouldn't like Hellboy. And it's like, get bent with that stuff. Of course, I'm interested in stuff like this, you know. And so, and it's the script is really strong, but it's also like designed to be like a small like a stage play, you know, where you need limited amount of sets, just great makeup and a wardrobe. And it leans hard on the story, and the makeup really adds a good flavor to it. There's a real interesting twist. First of all, this is for mature viewers. There's a lot of dark stuff going on, especially in the beginning. You're like thrown into this like evil things being done to children. Okay, I'm not saying it shows anything terrible like that, but I mean it heavily implies something terrible happening to a child, and so these demons. When humans look at them, they see a normal human. You know, they don't see the demon, but the demons see each other as demons. And so it's interesting. It's like sometimes the actor's in costume, sometimes he's not in makeup, and it's like, but those must have been the nice days. It's like, oh, today we're not doing any makeup. Oh, thank God, I'm going to sit in the chair for 6 hours before we start shooting. What if I have to pee? And so it's really interesting and does that, and they can make humans see their true form and stuff like that. And so the interpreter and he are trying to figure out this problem because all the humans started acting good. They started being good people, and they're freaking out because they don't know there's no misery to go around, so they're starving. The demons start starving, and so they're trying to figure out what happened to cause all the humans to start being good people. It's kind of an interesting take, you know, because it's like, oh, this is our bread and butter. You know, we're demons, we're starving, we need the misery. We've got a serious problem on our hands. These people are good for some reason. And so it's kind of an interesting angle on it's kind of like a detective story. And it's the acting is pretty damn good. Should I shout them out? I don't think so. I'm not going to bother. I have to look it up. And geez, I don't want to spoil anything. What can I say else about it? Not a whole lot of action. It's a lot of like suspense and so forth, and intrigue. And you start figuring out, you know, as you start figuring out what's happening, you're figuring it out as as Vine is figuring it out, and the consequences of which could be terrifying. Because it's interesting because you find these demons and they have personalities and they have like objectives and wants and needs and even relationships with each other. Sometimes, you know, sexual, such as demons do. So it's obviously an adult movie, a hard R rating, and not like it's like intense sexual scenes like in Game of Thrones. You know, I went back and like watched an episode of like Game of Thrones, like gratuitous sex everywhere, like every single episode, naked people. Is that really necessary? And then they did a demon sex scene in Fire City, End of Days. God, the title. And it's mostly in the dark. It's a lot of silhouettes because I'm sure like makeup was, you know, prosthetics were falling loose and stuff like that while they're wrestling around, fighting like demons or sexing like demons. I guess would have sex. And so you find out that, they have personalities, they have wants and desires and stuff like that. And there's even like a hierarchy among them. You got some demons that are more useful, some demons that are more useless. You got true demons like who are like the bosses. Anyway, but you start figuring it out and you're like, oh, I like the way this is turning. And I don't want to say anything more and ruin it. But it's a strong script, but it is obviously is a low budget movie. And you could tell that, and that affects the star rating. So the star rating for Fire City, End of Days, 2015 movie, 8 of 13 stars. The title. The title's got to go. This movie deserves a better title. I was thinking maybe Demon Land. Did you get the 8 of 13 stars? The Interpreter, maybe. But the problem with the title, like The Interpreter, is it doesn't imply the what's it called, the demonic nature of the story. I think Hierarchy of the Damned might be good. I mean, it's written so well. It has such a horrible title. It makes me wonder if somebody's like they had a name for it, and it was Hierarchy of the Damned. And some guy in an office somewhere has got a cigar like Hierarchy of the Damned. That's too many hard words. Kids are not going to want to see a movie. Who knows what a hierarchy is anyway? I don't know. You're at the top of one. Let's call it Fire City, End of Days. It's like, well, there's not a whole lot of fire in it. And it's not really the end of days. But okay, you're the boss, I guess. Pretty good movie. Worth the watch.